I think. Okay. We should be live. Hello, everybody. Sorry about the wait for this live stream. Literally 30 minutes after I was supposed to start, I just had so much technical issues trying to get the the software to work for the live stream, and then separately, I had to figure out how to get my friends to be able to see and hear the video at the same time. And the two things were just not working for like 30 minutes. So we figured it out. So now we're we're all here. Let me introduce my friends, Expedition Steve. You guys have seen Steve before on my channel, and as well as we have Shazz. So Shazz, I met not last year. It was
May.
Yeah,
in May.
It was May this year, and so she's a relatively new friend of mine, and we might be joined by Zach later. But yeah, so do you guys want to talk a little bit about your channels, or like, I know you guys also work with Jason and you guys work on a channel together, but it's your chance to plug things in.
There you go, Shaz. You're first, Shaz. Ladies first.
Oh, do I have to go first? Okay, so I'm Shaz. I'm one half of Middle Age Magic. The other half of me is Sam, who Alex also met in May. It wasn't that long ago. And we are two ladies of a certain age that love all things Disney and theme parks. So
where are you located?
We are.
You have a funny accent.
We have not got. I've not got a funny accent. You're always going on about my accent. We're in the UK, in the south of the UK. We're in Kent, so I live pretty close to the White Cliffs of Dover.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I'm
Steve,
Expedition Steve. Yeah, sorry. I have my own channel too, and it was because of Alex that I have my channel, and we hung out all the time, and that's it. No. Yeah. I do a really cool. Alex helped me with a really cool thing I do. We call it "Where Are We?" And it started when Alex, Chris, and I were writing on Pirates and wondering where are we in the show building. So Alex told me, "Oh, we're under the Blue Bayou," and I'm like, "Wait, what? How?" So he got me the map, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make a video. So I now make these "Where Are We" videos, so you can actually see a map overlay of where you are on the ride. So it's actually pretty cool and a lot of fun to make. And then both of us together are on Signs of Amusement.
Hang on a minute. Back up.
What?
I help you do those "Where Are We" videos now.
That's what I said. Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah. Okay. You do now. So, well, you haven't done one in a while. So.
No, we have not.
Anyway. Yeah. Hey, Manny, how you doing? Good to see you.
All right. So, yeah.
Hey, Conrad.
So, oh yeah. Hello, everyone. So,
I popped the YouTube chat out so I can actually see.
Oh, that's a good idea. I should do that too.
Yeah. So every year on my channel, I do one of these America Sings watch parties, and basically we're just gonna watch the whole America Sings show at Disneyland. America Sings was introduced in 1974, 2 years ahead of the American Bicentennial, and it was meant to celebrate America's culture and music. Of course, the show is quite old. It no longer exists at Disneyland anymore, and so a lot of the music you're about to hear is very dated, but it's a fun show, and it's one of those shows that I wish I could have seen myself. Steve had the opportunity to see it
many times. It was one of my dad's favorites and my mom's, so getting to watch this in real was really a lot of fun. It I don't know. There's a weird feeling when you're in there and watching the show and stuff. You knew you were at Disneyland. So it's one of those type of attractions.
Yeah. Well, I say we start the show, and we'll have our little commentary right afterwards.
With our Kardashian dog. Manny.
Okay, I'm going to click the button.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our presentation of America Sings. We have a few last reminders before we start. Please, no smoking or eating, and especially no flash photography here in our theater. Also, for your own personal safety,
Look at those
By the way,
clothes.
if anybody has difficulty hearing the video
Yeah, let us
or
know.
any of us, let us know.
Yeah, and then I can turn it up or down.
Conrad.
Yankee Doodle went to town a-riding on a pony. Stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy. Mind the music and the step, and with the girls be handy. Yankee Doodle. Yes, folks, that was America's first popular song. And that's what this show is all about. America's music. Where'd the songs come from, Sam? Why, they were the songs that people brought from their native countries. They did? What kind of music was it? Sometimes
It's funny
it was
when
happy,
we used to watch this when I was a little kid. I pretended I was in that
and
park where they were.
sometimes it just spoke of love, like
I was a weird kid.
You still are a weird kid.
Yeah, you're still weird.
Ooh, very nice. But frankly, I prefer all around the cobbler's bench. The monkey chased the weasel. The monkey thought 'twas all in fun.
My favorite.
And now, let's travel on through history and hear America sing. Sing it, Sam. Yankee Doodle travel south, riding on a riverboat.
My mom would start clapping already.
It
It was like a thing.
It's like a
It
thing
always
people
started.
did. You know, they
Yeah.
was like audience participation or something.
They,
Yep.
they
You know?
still do it at the country fairs at Disney World. It's like,
Oh, they do?
yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
yep.
This is a lot quieter than what do you call it? Carousel of Progress. You can hear the wheels turning on that thing. It's like it's turning on stone wheels or something.
Some guy's cranking it at the back. Don't start singing.
Dude,
I love these geese.
I know. It's so funny. That's some of those are in Star Tours now, correct?
Yep, 2 of them. So those, you saw 3 geese there. There were supposed to be 4.
Yes.
So one of them was
Okay.
in Star Tours at that time.
Now, the Swamp Boys.
They ended up in Splash Mountain, didn't they? Those
Yeah.
alligators
Yep. And the
Yeah.
frogs.
and the frogs. Yeah.
Almost everything in this attraction made it to Splash Mountain.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of funny that it is in Tomorrowland.
Yeah. It's not futuristic at all.
Sung from the heart.
And I remember her on Splash.
Yeah.
Hello, Pine Cone from Detroit.
Making his moonshine.
In the evening, hear the train go home. Write me a letter, send it by mail. Send it in care of the Birmingham jail. The Birmingham jail.
There is like so many animatronics for each scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read there was something like 122 animatronics throughout the whole ride.
Wow. And a lot of these guys right here were in the finale from
Splash Mountain.
from Splash,
Yeah.
on the riverboat.
I'm sad that they didn't make it into the Tiana ride.
Yeah. Yep.
No, they kept a couple of things, didn't they? But not a lot.
And now let's journey on. On the way.
Yeah. Pine cone. Yep.
Well, you know, head west, working on the railroad.
Oh, the early
Crossing rivers
learning
over
piano.
And moving with a big load. Onward west the trains rolled, where cattle were a-grazing. The tales and songs that people sang were really quite amazing. Yankee Doodle, sing it up. Yankee Doodle,
There we got Jason.
What's up, Jason? Pop goes Louise.
He said he was going back to
Louise. Yeah. He's laying on the raft in the swimming pool.
Probably.
Like the picture in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not quite in the pool yet.
Conrad, that's quite a take you have there. I used to like that Disneyland would recycle things. I used to like that they would take animatronics from one ride and put them in another.
Swanson.
Well, come along, boys, and listen to my tale, and I'll tell you all my troubles on the old Chisholm Trail. Down my tie, yippee, yippee, yay. Come and tie, yippee.
Now we're into the Western.
Now I went to the boss to draw my roll, and he had me figured $9 in the hole.
This is my favorite part. Who shot that hole in my sombrero?
Who put that bullet through my heart? Who shot
Hiya.
that hole in my sombrero? Who would do a terrible thing like that? I can't figure who pulled that trigger. You don't reckon my old wife could be back in town?
This is my favorite part.
Yeah. Oh, the Boot Hill Boys. Yep.
Yeah.
Billy was a bad guy.
He was always after lawmen and kept them on the run.
One day he met a bandit.
Who was a whole lot better.
I'm glad they didn't make him sound like the Beatles and like in.
Oh, like they did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is those specific two vultures, I think, went to Walt Disney World instead of Disneyland.
Oh, really?
Because the ones at Disneyland were not dressed up. They just had regular feathers.
Oh, the one in Splash Mountain before you do the drop there.
Yeah, here in California, they were in the California Splash Mountain. You know, when they have their hands together, they're feathers. But in America Sings, they're wearing gloves and they're holding their hands up.
Oh,
this.
yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was like, you know what? I think it's they went to Walt Disney World instead.
I can't believe you were disappointed the first time you rode Splash Mountain, Conrad. You must be terrible. You know, like overcome with disappointment riding Tiana's afterwards.
The gay 90s were upon us now. The country was in full swing.
I like all his little outfits.
Yeah.
Their own thing.
I know.
Each time the people sang a song, Toon Smith wrote another. About love, marriage,
I wonder what the the machine room or whatever you want to call the room that controls all the animatronics. I wonder how big that was. Do you know how big that was? Was it big?
It was huge.
It's below, right?
Yeah. They have they have a room in back for the hydraulic compressors that ran all the animatronics, and then they have a basement below where all of the computers were to run each of the animatronics.
Wow.
She may be somebody's mother. Come let her go her way. The Bowery.
I wonder who did all the design work. You know, the clothing and stuff. Was it, what's her name?
Well, I know. So it's all based off of the drawings by Mark Davis. So that's why they all have that Mark Davis look. But then the costumes and the furs were done by people like
Alice.
Alice, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I hope it doesn't rotate. That would be weird if the control room rotated with the...
Oh, yeah, no. None of the stages where all the animated figures rotated. It was only the seating area rotated around the theater.
Yeah.
The outside of it, yeah.
Yeah.
The center stayed still.
Yeah.
I always like how they don't have their hats on. They're all slicked back.
Yeah.
Their feathers are all slicked back. What was the owl's name again?
And now, Blossom Nose Murphy.
Why is this song always associated with drunk people?
So Conrad, like I said, none of the figures it was only the seats of the theater rotated around the thing. Everything in the center of the building where all the animatronics stayed perfectly still.
Yeah, the audience rotates.
Yeah, the stages don't rotate, just the audience.
Don't you believe it, Sonny?
Don't you believe it, Sonny?
It's weird because when you ride them, when you're on the Carousel of Progress, it feels like the stage is rotating, but it's not you
that's what this felt like too. When you're on this, it feels like the stage is rotating and you're standing still or sitting still.
Sitting still.
Yeah.
And you'd be sitting there, and you could look up at the ceiling, and the lights would be moving over you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you can, and then at the top of the walls, they had like a flex thing.
Oh, now I'm going to have to do that the next time I go there.
Yeah.
Disney World in September. I've never looked up when I've been in the Carousel of Progress. Now I'm going to have to, because I'm going to have to check the ceiling out, see what it's like for Jason.
Yep. Yeah. When they had interventions, the outside would turn real slow when you walk in, and you can see the seam between the seats and the center stage.
Yeah.
There's no show similar to this at all left in Disneyland, though, is there? Everything animatronic show related is gone.
Well, besides, the only thing is Tiki Room, but even then, it's not situated the same way this one is.
No, it's like Disney World have still got the Country Bears, and Disney World have still got the Carousel of Progress, but there's nothing left, is there, at Disneyland? Which is nuts, because you look at those ceilings, Jason.
Yeah.
Everything.
He's in his truck looking at the ceilings too.
They could have easily updated this along the way to make it
It was so weird that after they took all the animatronics out, that nothing became of this building.
Yeah,
other
it
than
sat there
intervention, a long time.
It sat there for more than a decade.
Now, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's in there now? Nothing.
Season of the Force stuff, or Force, whatever Star Wars stuff that's in there.
The
Yeah, but
launch
there's hardly
Yeah.
no, is there?
And when we
Yeah.
went in there for Star Wars night,
Yeah.
everything in there was exactly the same as it was when they first shut it down. I always like this part too.
Why do piano players always do that when they're singing? They never look at what they're doing or anything. They just like.
Yeah.
Manning is the floor guy. I didn't
Yeah.
really looking at the floor either. You're all weird.
Yeah, this part,
stork.
the Elvis.
This stork, they used it at Imagineering for like almost 15-20 years to teach new animatronic animators how to animate.
Wow.
Ooh.
Hey, Shiloh. All those pots and pans. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, baby.
The frog doing it.
Yeah, the bullfrog. Yeah. What's funny is I never heard this song ever. Only in America Sings.
Yeah.
I've never heard this song before. It's like, is it a song they made just for that?
No, these are all American songs.
Yeah, I don't remember. From all the songs, that's like the only one I've never heard.
Even this song, Joy to the World, I'd never heard it outside of America Sings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
Oh,
I
no,
know
it's-
it was a popular song back then.
Yeah. It's more in the 60s.
Yeah.
Conrad. Such a fun show.
People came from every land to mix these tunes for you. So we should all remember, as history moves along, that everything is better now because someone wrote a song. Yankee Doodle sing,
Burl Ives.
oh, Yankee Doodle dance.
Yeah, that voice. Oh, man.
Yeah. It's like iconic, just like Paul Frees.
You know, he had the perfect voice to play Sam the Eagle, honestly.
Yeah. He was there at the opening, wasn't he? When they opened.
Yeah.
Yep, 3 Dog Night.
Yankee Doodle
Now we're back
always
at the
says,
park.
The past is just the start. Tomorrow will bring songs to you that come straight from the heart. Another thing he had to say was
It
life
was?
is just a song. So everybody get in tune and let's all sing along. Should old acquaintance be forgotten and never brought to mind?
It did. I remember that.
3 Dog Night do Hunger Strike as well. Or am I imagining that?
Goodbye, goes a weasel.
Yeah, I totally remember
Now,
that.
Shazz, if you right-click the video, you can make it loop, and then if you put it on mute, we can talk over it.
Whoa! That's not what I said. Back to the beginning. Why are you going on to somebody's webcam? That's not what I said either, YouTube. Come on. Right, now stop that and don't be silly. Right click loop. There you go.
And then mute.
Yeah, and then mute it.
Yeah.
And then you
Anybody-
replay it.
I wasn't an IT professional.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness I'm not an IT professional and don't work with computers and stuff
all
day.
day long.
Yeah, imagine. Okay, right,
So-
done that now.
Yeah, this attraction, it's so charming. And, you know, like Shazz was saying earlier, like, you know, it's surprising that they didn't just update it, you know, as the years went on. Because, I mean, you know, Walt Disney World, they have Carousel of Progress, and they update that once in a while, you know, and I don't see why they couldn't have updated America Sings, especially that last segment with, you know, more popular, you know, modern songs, you know, and it could have been a really funny show, you know, to see these animals act out your favorite songs, you know, in this ridiculous way, you know. So, and then of course I can imagine it today with like projection effects and things added to it to give it more movement and stuff.
What they should do with that building is, I still think what they should do is have kind of like the Sphere in Vegas. So the inside, you know, they have the theater seating and have a giant screen in front of you and make it so immersive.
Yeah.
And, you know, and they can do all sorts of stuff in there.
It'll be like a Circle Vision.
Exactly. Yep. New Circle Vision. Yeah.
Well, if you think of how they revamped the Country Bears at Disney World, because they were threatening to take that away for I don't know how long, and there was a meltdown. People was freaking out the fact that they were going to remove it, and they just revamped it, and it's as popular now than it's ever been. I mean, it's really good what they've done to it. So they could have done something similar with this easily.
Yeah.
I know, it's such a fun show. It was one of the ones that, you know, when you come to Disneyland, at least for my family, when we came to Disneyland, it was something that we would have to go see and have to do. So
yeah. Thanks, Linda. Happy America Sings Day to you too. Yeah, I keep forgetting today's 4th of July, and that's why we're doing this. I'm just like, oh, it's annual America Sings Day to me, but I'm like, oh, it's 4th of July.
I'd forgotten it was the 4th of July, and I was like, why is there no Americans working today? And I was like, oh,
because we won.
Like, they're all lazy gits.
We just agreed to let you go. Shush.
But yeah, this is like, I love this show. And you know what's crazy is like how many animatronics worked in it. You know, 122.
Like,
they all had to be carefully maintained all the time, and you know, and there were lots of duplicates of animatronics and things. Of course, you know, that dog was duplicated again at the finale scene. You know, so there was just, but I mean, it was really clever. I just thought it was a really clever show. And then, but yeah, 2 of the geese went to Star Tours, and they're still there today. I think it's so cool because you know, like I know Conrad was saying, oh, well, you know, I don't like that Disney, you know, just reused the animatronics, but I'm one of those people that I like when Disney does that. It's kind of like being able to spot celebrities, you know, doing a new show or something. You know, you're it's kind of like when you're like, oh, Sam Neill is doing this part now and whatever. But it's like at Disneyland, it's like, oh, I remember when that animatronic used to be in that ride, you know, and I love that kind of stuff. I really do. Even when I went to Galaxy's Edge, they have that DJ Rex. He's not the same animatronic, but he's a replica. So you can tell people, oh, well, you know, you can tell people, well, that animatronic used to be in Star Tours.
Yeah.
You know, kind of.
Which I have a video on that, the original. Yeah. So that was a lot. You helped me. That you upscaled it for me.
The restoration. That was where your cousin was like, ah!
Yeah. That was in 1993.
Wow.
Yeah, I borrowed my sister's video camera because my cousin from Holland came. So we took him there. And that was when I recorded Star Tours. So that was a lot of fun. And the People Mover and the Sky Buckets. And so it's a lot of fun. It's a fun video to watch, you know, from 93 before everything was taken down.
You know what's crazy? So this America Sings, I try to take this video and upscale it to make it sharper and make it look good. You can't. It doesn't upscale right. It looks like a moving painting. But Disney actually owns a high quality film of the whole
Of this?
attraction. Yeah,
Wow.
the whole
Really?
attraction.
Why is that not on Disney Plus?
That's what I'm saying. See, Disney, before they open a ride, they take a whole video of the ride, and they do it professionally. So it's almost like it was filmed as a movie. And so even with this show, they have that. And so sometimes, occasionally, when you watch like a Disney-made history documentary or something, and they'll show clips of America Sings, and it looks all professionally filmed, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And Disney has the whole thing. They do that for every ride, every attraction, but you almost never see the full thing ever because they just don't release it anywhere. And I'm like, they should release one for every attraction they've done, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And,
exactly.
yeah, they have it somewhere in their archives. And
That means they've probably got one for all the Epcot defunct attractions that have gone, like Horizons as well.
Yeah.
You'd like to think.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like what Conrad's saying, the timing of this.
Yeah.
They have to be on time, because if, you know,
they're out of sync.
if that last show and the first, and you know, when you're exiting and entering, they only have a certain amount of time, right? To exit the theater and enter the theater.
4 minutes, yeah.
Before the next turn.
Yeah, because you enter the theater, so it's 6 positions, in case anybody in the chat wants to know. There's 6 positions of the whole theater. There's the loading and beginning scene, and then you got 4 scenes going through. You got the American South, the Wild West. The
Shall we bring up a map?
1890s. Yeah, a map. And you got modern day, which is 1970s, and then you have the final scene, which is the unload / the ending of the show, and it's a duplicate of the beginning of the show. So it's
right
2 separate rooms, but you know.
But it's like the whole timing of everything is, they had to figure all that out, and you know, each length of each show.
And it's just like Carousel of Progress, where, like, let's say people take forever to get off of the ending scene and get out of their seats and walk out of the theater. If that takes too long, then everybody has to sit and watch the same scene all over again until they can rotate the theater next. Yeah. So that's what happens even at Walt Disney World with Carousel of Progress. If people just don't get off the ride fast enough, then the whole ride has to sit there and rewatch everybody around the whole thing has to rewatch the segment they just watched again. Until they can rotate.
I don't think I've ever had that happen in America with America Sings. At least I have never.
No,
had that
I think people back then just intuitively knew, like, let's get the heck out of here, you know. But today, like, I've watched so many videos of Walt Disney World's Carousel of Progress, and people are just not the same as they used to be. They take their sweet time because they're like,
there's no more like respect or any of that.
And they're loving the AC in there. That's the thing, because it's one of the best places that people say that's the best place. Go and sit down for 20 minutes. You get some, because it's really cold in there. It's great, but you know, and what's really annoying about it is some people go in there just for the air conditioning, and then they talk through the entire show.
Yeah, that's like when you're on Pirates. When you're on Pirates and you get on. I just want to turn around and
punch people.
There were people holding a conversation as they were going down the waterfalls. I was like, how are you doing this?
Exactly.
You know, like
exactly.
No courtesy. Yep.
No courtesy. People at Disney parks today, they're a whole different breed of people than they were, you know, even when I was a kid. You know, it was like there was a certain amount of respect, you know, like if the show starts, you quiet down, you watch it, you know. But it's not like that today. They'll talk through the whole. I mean, have you guys heard people talking through the stretching scene in the
talking on their phones while they've been in a ride?
Yeah.
Switch it off, man. Yeah.
There's like no. Yeah, because if you get someone that has never ridden the ride before, you want them to experience the same thing you've experienced, and that's why you're back on that ride, because you like it.
Yeah.
And you don't.
I mean, I've only been going to the parks. It's 15 years now. Yeah, because Sam and I went first time in 2010. So, but even in that short amount of time, it's changed. completely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and
Yeah.
I got run over by remember Alex when I got run over by that guy in his little scooter? He ran over
Oh.
my ankle.
Yeah. You were so mad. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't think I'd ever seen you mad before. I was like, whoa.
He didn't even say sorry. He just took off.
How
And
did
it
you not
was-
like pull him off the thing?
Oh, he almost punched him. I could see it. Like Steve's
just-
fist was like, he was like, you know, like I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
it
I
was-
can
it was
imagine.
stupid. He just ran over me, and yeah, I don't know. And that's another thing. He didn't say sorry, nothing.
just
It just kept
rude.
on going. Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the new Disney. So
That's how things are now, unfortunately. It's just, you know.
Everybody's
it's not the
entitled.
same.
They think, oh, I'm here. It's
Yeah.
my right. And it's like, no, there's other people here as well.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that one. That's exactly what they think. They think like, oh, I paid for this, so this park is mine for today, you know, and
Yeah.
they could do whatever they want. And,
yeah.
you know, it doesn't matter what anybody around them is doing, or, you know, it's just, it never used to be like that. People used to have
Yeah,
a
and that's
common
what-
courtesy.
Yeah, and that's how it was when everybody would come into America Sings. They all sit down. They all just enjoyed the music. They clap along. It was like one big, group of
Yeah.
people just experiencing the same fun stuff, all
The only
together.
time I think I've ever experienced that at Disney World is when we went to watch the Country Bears again when they'd revamped it. And it was like that. Everybody sat down, they were quiet as soon as it started. I mean, obviously they've revamped popular songs, so people knew the songs, so they were singing along and clapping along and stuff. And then when
Yeah.
it finished, it was like everybody got up in unison and left. It was like, oh, this is how things used to be. But that's the only time I've ever experienced
Yeah.
that in a Disney park recently.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. And, you know, if this America Sing show had lasted through till today, it'd just be the same thing, too. You'd be sitting there and someone would be right in front of you talking on their phone or talking to their friend
Yeah.
through the whole show. You know, so.
So let me ask you this, because I know you know a lot of stuff. So I want to ask you this.
See?
How did they come up with the design of America Sings using a already built, what do you call it? The building was already there for Carousel Progress. So how did they come up with being able to use the same technology and same parts and everything of that carousel to make this?
Yeah, so they basically, they were moving Carousel of Progress to Walt Disney World because Walt Disney World desperately needed some star attractions when it first opened. And so they thought, well, we can't have this. You know, we have the Carousel of Progress building sitting empty, and all the machinery and stuff to make it operate is still there, and they have the hydraulic pumps and everything for the animatronics. They just moved the figures and the sets, you know. So they were like, okay, what do we do with this space? And so they looked to Mark Davis, you know, because he was very prominent at the time, and this was still the whole "what would Walt do" era. And so and so they looked to Mark, and Mark said, well, American Bicentennial's coming, why don't we do something with American music? And and then he thought, well, you know, we need to be able to do something that really shines, but it has to be different than Carousel of Progress. So that's when it came into his head that he was going to use animals. And then when it came to putting everything in, the Carousel of Progress, each stage was higher. There was, I think it was 4 feet high, the stage of Carousel of Progress. And in order to fit all the animatronics for America Sings in there and to make the sets as big as they needed to, he had to drop the stage about 2 feet. And so that's what he did. He lowered the stage about 2 feet so that way they could have the ceiling height for everything, especially the animatronics in the back. Yeah, and unfortunately, he blamed himself later when Deborah Stone died in the attraction because that extra 4 feet, that extra 2 feet that he dropped off of the stage allowed her to kind of get stuck between the wall and the stage. And so he blamed himself for that afterwards, that he dropped the stage for that thing. But that was one of the things that they had to do to make the animatronics fit. And then the stages are not as they appear. There's a huge pit underneath as soon as you cross over. And so underneath it's like sort of like a basement, but it's above ground. And there's enough room there to lower all these short animatronics into the floor. And so that was also
in some of the scenes where they drop into the.
Yeah, and that was also part of the reason why they chose to use animals, because if they had used human figures, they actually they wouldn't have been short enough to drop into the floor.
Yeah.
So, you know, and so yeah, so they were able to do things like that. And they used that effect a lot because they had a lot of different animatronics they needed to bring up and lower, and they even had for the geese quartets, they were often sitting on turntables. The turntables would turn, and I believe they used some of the original turntable mechanisms from Carousel of Progress. So like that alligator you see, I believe he is on a turntable as well, because there is another animatronic behind him. I think that was the there was another animatronic behind him that did a part of the show before he showed up. But anyway, point is, some of the scenes there's turntables and stuff like that. And then of course, all the lighting rigs for lighting up everything for the Carousel of Progress were still there for America Sings, and so they didn't really have to worry about where they would hide all the lights. And then to get more space out of each set, because these were small stages. They were designed to be like living rooms or bedrooms. Yeah. And so these were small stages. But to make them look this huge, they had to use these 2-dimensional boards that represent, you know, the depth of things. And so that's how they were able to fit so many animatronics so close together, is the 2-dimensionality of a lot of the sets on the ride.
Yeah, it's really cool how they did the engineering part of trying to fit everything in.
Like this scene looks so huge, but it's really, you know, no bigger than the
other one.
Than Sam and the owl in the first scene.
Yeah,
it's just that the depth is different. They pushed the background closer.
Yeah. So, and as far as I know, this attraction was actually pretty consistent throughout its run at Disneyland. Back then, they also had really good maintenance schedules for everything. But yeah,
you're saying that they don't now?
Nah, not really. It's kind of sad too, because like you ride Pirates of the Caribbean, and like Jack Sparrow's mouth hasn't worked in years.
Yeah,
he used to be able to talk and form his words with his lips and stuff like that. And he hasn't been able to do that in probably almost 10 years. It's been that long. Wow. It's crazy. Yeah. And then Barbossa, he hasn't actually had Barbossa's face in a long time. They're using the original pirate's face from that scene, that figure. They're using
I noticed
his original
that
face.
when we rode it in May. I was like, hang on, he doesn't look like Barbossa, but he sounds like him.
Yeah, and that's something that like not many people have noticed. I'm glad that you were able to notice that. But
I spotted that.
Yeah, he used to have Jeffrey Rush's face, and for some reason they just stopped using it and they reused the original face.
The original
face.
Weird, because at Disney World and Disneyland Paris, Barbossa is Barbossa. He's in different places, but it's definitely him.
Yep. So yeah. It's I don't know.
Conrad's thing about moving, was it quicker to move a ride than it was to build one? Well, it took them 6 years to build Tron, and it was a copy of the one in Shanghai. So yes, it's probably much quicker to move one.
And even back then, you know, I was looking at it. You know, the 1967 New Tomorrowland, it's where they introduced the People Mover, they introduced Carousel of Progress, they redid and revamped all of Tomorrowland. That was done in about, let's see, they closed Tomorrowland October of 66, reopened it July of 67. So
Wow.
yeah,
Never
so
do that now.
No.
that was 9 months. They demolished the old Tomorrowland essentially and rebuilt it almost from the ground up in 9 months.
Yeah.
You can't do that nowadays. You just really can't.
No.
And that was as late as 1966 to 1967. So, but yeah, and then so that was a whole land, and yet it takes 6 years to build a Tron roller coaster. It's just
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. A
Taken
lot of
them-
red tape and politics and stuff
I think
get
it's
involved.
taken nearly 5. Well, I think it will be 5 years by the time they open it. The new expansion at Disneyland Paris Studios, with the Kraken Land, that's going to be come on 5 years by the time they've opened it. As well,
You think?
That's true.
Well, if they open it next year, like they've threatened
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
If-
Threatened to. Yeah.
I'll believe it. I'll believe it when they open it. I'll believe it. Not holding my breath.
Yeah.
They just seem to take forever to build things these days, and I don't quite understand why.
Except for Epic.
That's not Disney, though, is it?
I know.
Universal threw time, money, and people at it, and they managed to build an entire park in the same time that it took Disney to build a copy of one ride.
Yeah.
Mm.
That is incredible. I think even now, I think Disney, it would take them 10 years to build a new park from the ground up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
Well, it
is
took them
just-
what 4 years to build Galaxy's Edge. I think they started in 2016. I want to say,
I think
and they
we
finished in 2019.
Villains Land at Disney World, which is going to be behind Big Thunder Mountain. They've broken ground on it now. They start building proper next year, and they think it will be open by 2030. So that's going to take them 5 years to build it,
Yeah.
if that's on time.
So Manny says no tickets were required for Carousel of Progress, America the Beautiful, and Adventure Through Inner Space, and the reason why is because those attractions were sponsored. So a lot of
that's right. Yeah.
a lot of attractions at Disneyland that were sponsored didn't require a ticket to pay for them.
Like
then
Small
again, there
World,
were
right?
some that did. Like you had like the Santa Fe Disneyland Railroad and the Santa Fe monorail. Yeah, you had to pay tickets for those. But generally speaking, sometimes if you had an attraction that was sponsored, then you didn't have to pay for it. But yeah, and Carousel of Progress was originally sponsored by General Electric, and then America the Beautiful was the Packard Bell, I think it
Yeah.
was.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's a blast.
Or
from
no,
the
it's Pacific Bell. Pacific
Bell.
The-
Pacific Bell.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
past.
telephone
Phone
company.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't Packard Bell a telephone company though?
No, that's a computer.
No, computer. That's
Oh,
now HP.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
HP,
right. Okay,
yeah.
I'm thinking of. Okay, so yeah, the Pacific Bell, and then Adventure Through Inner Space was Monsanto.
Monsanto. Yep. Yeah.
That turned into Star Tours, didn't it?
Yes.
It
Yeah.
did, yes.
And where
Which-
the Mighty Microscope is where the Star Speeder 2000 or whatever it is.
Oh
comes
yeah,
out.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
You
when
know-
they had the display of the, sorry, Alex, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
No, so where they had the display of the snowflake on the big screen, that's
Yep.
now the screen where it shows you the tours.
Oh yeah, as you turn in on the right hand side.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So the queue and everything in the beginning of the queue and
Same.
stuff, that hasn't really changed. But so where you enter the ride is where C-3PO is at the controls. There's like he's standing there and punching buttons or something.
Yep.
I don't know. That's where you used to enter the ride.
Got you.
Yeah. I always felt that when they opened Galaxy's Edge, they should have like revamped Star Tours to be like a modern version of Adventure Through Inner Space.
Yeah,
like
that'd be so cool.
You ride the simulator and you go through different like adventures, being shrunk down to microscopic size and stuff. They could have done something really neat with that, kind of like Body Wars, at Walt Disney World, but without the grossness of being in a human
Being in a body. Yeah.
Yeah. They could have returned to the whole snowflake idea or something.
Yeah, going to the atom. Yeah.
I still don't
Yeah.
understand why when they put Galaxy's Edge in both parks why they didn't move Star Tours. I mean, I know it's more
Yes.
difficult at Disneyland to move it, but they could have. They could have if they really wanted to.
If they
moved
really
it.
wanted to.
At
Yeah.
Disneyland, there is like space behind like Oga's. If you look at a Google map, I'm from the top.
I'm
That's
sure
all-
you'll show me later.
Yeah, I'll show you. But behind there, there's actual. That's
There's
I
enough
believe
room.
I believe right now it's storage. At least that's what the containers look like from above. But there's plenty of room back there to make a whole new building and put in the what do you call it, the simulators, because there's 3 simulators or 2 simulators in Star Tours. I don't remember how many.
5 or 6, I think, at Disney World.
4.
Yeah, it's usually 4, isn't it?
At Disneyland there are 5. Wait. No, Steve's right. There are 4 at Disneyland, and then there are 6 at
4.
Walt Disney World.
Okay.
Because there's definitely room to have moved it in Hollywood Studios, but now there's rumours that when they revamp Smuggler's Run to have the new scenes in it, that will be the death of Star Tours. Because if they can revamp Smuggler's Run to have different random scenes in it, why would they need Star Tours?
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was really weird that they decided, like, even to build Smuggler's Run in the first place. I mean, I get it. You wanted to fly in the Millennium Falcon, but they should have known that there was just something kind of flawed with that in the sense
It's limited.
that, like,
So in the beginning, it's limited, and then they can change out the.
And then people
scenes.
had such a learning curve for it when they got on that ride. I mean,
Well, when you
wouldn't think that they would, but people were so dumb. They just didn't know. They're like, "Why is this button flashing?" It's like you're supposed to press it.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Well, and then they don't realize it's pilot controls. So down is up is down, and left. And then you had the one person doing left and right. So if you didn't know how to do all that, people behind you that are not watching really the screen, they're really starting to get sick.
I remember hearing from so many people when that ride first opened that they were like, "Oh, I'm so mad when we get that one person that just doesn't know how to use the ride," and it's like,
don't
it
be a
ruins
pilot.
the whole mission.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's all right if you're in the group of people, but if you get stuck with some randoms and they aren't Star Wars fans or they have no idea what they're doing, I get really angry.
I got where they actually gave the pilots to these little kids.
Yeah,
and it's fine. I don't care. They're out there to have fun too, but the parents didn't like it, so they gave me the pilot. Because we don't want our kids to fly this thing because we're gonna get sick. So it's like, okay, I'll fly it then. So, but
oh gosh, that's funny.
Why? Yeah, how come we always end up talking about Star Wars?
I don't know.
We're supposed to be talking about American things.
In this, and then in the chat, it's so like many are saying that it was Delta later on from America the Beautiful, but it was first Peck Bell. And then they did have telephones at the exit and stuff, like actual booths and stuff, and it was kind of neat, the way they.
One of the days of a Disney sponsor. Well, some of them were sponsored.
It was neat that when things were sponsored, they actually had their products on display.
Yeah.
So it was neat. Well, especially Adventure Through Inner Space, that whole area from Monsanto is showing about oil and what they're making with the plastics and stuff. It was actually kind of neat.
Yeah.
And nowadays, of course,
very planetary friendly though, is it?
They have a bad rap now. So
yeah. Disney has tried getting rid of sponsorships wherever they can, but they still obviously have them. They have Honda sponsoring the Autopia, and
Test Track still sponsored by GM.
They used to have. Energizer used to sponsor Star Tours, and then they got somebody else. Was it Sylvania sponsored the new Star Tours? Yeah, Sylvania sponsored the new Star Tours.
Yeah,
Sylvania also sponsored It's a Small World, and then so did Siemens.
Which is weird.
So
it's a light bulb company. So
yeah. Well, I mean, those are 2 rides that need lots of light bulbs. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, they had Sylvania sponsoring Small World for a while, but I think Sylvania stopped because you see every year they do It's a Small World holiday, which requires lots of lots of Christmas lights, and they were like, holy moly.
Yeah. Who sponsored America Sings? Did anybody sponsor America Sings, or was it just a Disney thing?
I don't.
Oh yeah, flash bulbs. That's right, flash bulbs.
Flash bulbs.
Yeah, for cameras.
Really?
Sylvania, yeah. So when you had flashes, or the camera, the old style cameras, the old
the
35
little
millimeter.
cubey things that were
So they had those. Those were for like the 110 ones, and then the actual bulbs were for the older. They had like a silver dish.
Yeah, I remember. My
Yeah.
dad used to have loads of those.
Yeah. So yeah, it's funny to think the old days with all the sponsors and stuff. Like Welch's grape juice and
Dole is still sponsoring Tiki Room, and they've been a sponsor for Tiki Room for
a long time.
Yeah. So
I don't remember anybody sponsoring America Sings.
Enterprise was one.
Enterprise is one. Yeah, they sponsored something. Honda sponsors Autopia.
Yeah.
So
yeah, who sponsors? And then before Honda, it was Chevron.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't who Enterprise sponsors.
I can't remember what it was, but I remember seeing their logo.
Buzz Lightyear. Not Buzz Lightyear.
No. Let's see.
Something else in Tomorrowland, though.
Yes, Bank of America did sponsor Small World at the beginning. They were the first Disneyland sponsor of It's a Small World. So it was It's a Small World presented by Bank of America. But then when it was in New York, it was sponsored by Pepsi Cola.
Enterprise they sponsor Tron Light Cycle.
Yeah.
That's who.
They've got a green one at the end. It's really cool, actually.
And they also sponsored Luigi's Rockland.
Rollicking Roadsters.
Rollicking Roadsters.
Yeah,
over at Carsland. I can never say that word right.
No, you can't. Say it again.
Rollicking.
There
we go. Thank you.
I miss Luigi's Flying Tires. That was a good one.
You know what? I never got to ride that.
I didn't ride any of those rides when I was in DC. I'm going to need to make sure I do it.
The Rollicking, that's a lot of fun. Nobody. Well, I would say nobody. There's only a handful of people that know that when the ride ends and your car spins, you're supposed to put your hands up.
Okay,
that's like a tradition thing to do. Is that when the music is going to end, all the cars spin, and you're supposed to put your hands up.
Okay.
Yeah. At least that's what cast members told me. And so then when it happens, you see just a handful of people putting their hands up, and
I only do that when the police lights flash.
Yep.
That happened often, Alex.
More than you know.
Yeah.
All right, folks. I'm going to end this live stream. It's been a full hour now.
Del Monte. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the fruit people.
Del Monte sponsored America Sings. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Okay,
yeah.
They had the Del Monte as they did bananas too besides Dole. Yeah. Anyway, that was a random thought. But anyway, folks, thank you guys so much for joining us for this July 4th celebration, watching America Sings. We do this every year, and I hope to keep this tradition going. And thank you guys so much, Shazz and Steve, for joining me on this, and especially this such last minute, because I didn't really plan it out very well.
No, that's okay.
I did wonder.
We had a lot of fun. We
watched it, didn't we, on Signs last year as well? And we're riding the Liberty Bell.
Yeah, tonight we're riding the Liberty Bell. So hopefully you can join us with that, Alex.
Yeah.
When is that? That's tonight?
Tonight at 6 Disneyland time, we'll be riding the Liberty Bell from...
He's pulling a face already. He's busy. Look at that.
It's because my sister's going to be here at 6.
His sister's coming with her...
with my nephew,
his nephew, Oh. Thanks, Skip. Thanks, everybody in the chat. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys.
Thanks, guys, everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
And
And could you understand my stupid English accent?
Yeah.
It's not Cockney enough for us to understand it.
You'd be surprised how often I have to translate for Steve because he cannot understand what Zach and Sam are saying.
Nah.
Yeah, and other English people. I'm going to buy him an English to American dictionary.
No, I just it translates. I hear it coming through my headset, and then it turns into garbage.
Yeah.
So it's like
I think that's just your ears, Steve.
I think so too.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what he mishears.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to join us tonight, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Doing Liberty Bell.
What channel is that? Do you plug it in for them?
That'll be at signsofamusement.com or .com. Signs and Amusement on YouTube. Yeah. It's also, I believe, re-streamed on ours as well, I believe. But yeah, if you go to Signs on, and if take a look at Signs,
it's re-streamed on all our channels.
Yeah, but if you go to signsofAmusement.com, there's some info about trying to win a prize. So take a look at that too.
Yeah.
We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on that channel, and Jason is giving away his life-size Rocket Raccoon action figure, I guess you can call it.
Oh wow!
So yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, so we're trying to get to 1,000, and if we do, he's going to give that away to one of our subscribers.
Yeah.
So
nice. You hear that, folks? You can win a whole life-size Rocket Raccoon.
It's like 3 foot something tall. It's almost as tall as I am.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can check it out at signsofAmusement.com. It's fun.
And after the stream is over, I'll put a link in the description. So I'll have to do that once the stream's over. But anyway, folks, all right.
Yeah.
See you all next time, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. It was fun.